Hello again. I'm here on a snow day, got a little bit of extra time, so I thought I would make the next video for our Project Block series. This video today is going to go over the independent project contract. So this is really the first step in the new Project Block process, Project Block version 2.0. In this new Project Block process or sequence, instead of having a set of 9 projects that you're going to have to do, 9 canned projects. What you're going to do is you're all going to start by trying to complete an independent project. And if you get stuck anywhere along the way, you're going to be sent to little mini lessons or mini projects to kind of back that up and scaffold that process so that you can come back to it and then get back into your independent project. And we'll repeat that as many times as we have to until you can get through an independent project successfully on your own. So it all starts with the project contract. Now to find that, what you want to do is go to DepotLaunchpad.com. DepotLaunchpad.com, and you can just scroll down until you find the project block sheet, which is right here. And then you're going to look for the independent project contract, which is over on this side right here. You're going to click on that. Okay, and this is what it shows you. Now you can just fill this thing out. So I'm going to just do an example here. Put in your name, of course. Project name. Okay. Obviously at this point, and you can see the next question as well, I'm going to have a project in mind. Now, if you don't already have a project in mind, the next step is, or the first step is actually to come up with one. Now, if you can't come up with a project, then we are going to refer you to a little activity that can help you come up with a project. It's called the brainstorming activity. And it's kind of a little project in and of itself. You're going to go through some brainstorming activities, write down the results, and then turn that in. And then you'll be able to go back to the contract and restart it. But in this process, here's what I want you to do. If you get stuck, I want you to tell me, and then I will give you the worksheet, or I'll point you to the worksheet online for the little mini project that you have to do, the mini lesson, and you can do that. Don't just sit here and bang your head against the wall with the project contract. Don't just spin your wheels. We want you to be moving forward the whole time. So flag me down or flag somebody down and ask us for the brainstorming project. Complete that and turn it in before returning to this. Okay, got it? Excellent. So what's my project name? My project name is going to be the Coffee Project. I'm going to keep it simple for myself because we've already started this project, so I just want to give you an example. Coffee Project. We are going to raise money for field trips by roasting and selling coffee. Now this part right here, notice it says briefly, just a brief description. I want to be able to see quickly when I look at the spreadsheet here that results from this. I want to see quickly what it is you're doing, right? Which competency will it demonstrate? Now at this point you can only choose one. So let's see, I'm going to go into here and I'm going to say mostly career skills, okay? I'm going to say mostly career skills because I'm just kind of doing a lot of planning with this. I'm going to be managing money, all that kind of stuff, and that's all going to be under goal setting, managing my time, that sort of thing. I could put critical thinking here if I thought I was going to really be doing some experimenting maybe with the coffee. That's a possibility, like to perfect my roast. I might put critical thinking there. But think a little bit about this and just pick the one you think fits best. What resources, people, materials, etc. will I need? Okay, so here I need to have a clearer idea of what I'm going to do, and I might need to take some time with this. Now, because I've already done this, I have a pretty darn good idea. I'm going to need raw coffee beans. Now I'm going to get very specific here, and I'm going to say where I'm getting them from, because that's where I buy them from. I'm going to need raw coffee beans. How much raw coffee beans? I'm going to say, let's start off with 8 bags, because we don't know how much we're going to sell. 8 bags of raw coffee beans, and that's actually what we did start out with for this project. So I'm going to start out with 8 bags of raw coffee beans. I need a Whirly Pop machine, which it turns out is down in the kitchen. So now if that wasn't something that we had, we might have to do some fundraising for this, or if it's not that expensive, we might be able to just purchase it for you. But I'm going to need a Whirly Pop machine. I'm of course going to need the stove and the kitchen downstairs. I'm going to need bags for the coffee. And I'm going to sell these. I'm going to sell the coffee in, now they're 1 pound bags. I'm going to sell the coffee in half pounds, so that means I need at least 16 bags. I'm going to need labels. I'm going to use address labels for this, ones you stick on envelopes. So we're going to use address labels for this. Let's see, I'm going to need some kind of a colored pencil. And that looks like it's going to be, oh, I'm going to need a cookie sheet, because that's how we cool them off. And that's good for now, okay? I'm also, if I were a student, I would need either Bill or Ellen to help me with this while I was working down in the kitchen, right? What are the steps you will need to finish the project? Okay, first of all, identify funding sources for the beans, etc. So for my resources, now it turns out we've already got beans, but if I had to, I might have to try to do some fundraising right off the bat for this. And that's going to be step 1. Notice that in this form I can hit enter. So please don't just write it in a long list. You don't have to. Make a bulleted list like this or a numbered list. Identify funding sources for beans. Order the beans. Actually, I got to decide first. I'm going to shop for beans because I don't know which kind of varieties I'm going to get, what sources, what regions and stuff I want to get. Then I'm going to order the beans. All right. Once I receive the beans, and this will maybe be like 1 week later, then I'm going to roast. Oh, wait, why am I going to roast? I'm going to send out order forms to E.O. Smith staff. See how complicated this is? So here's the thing, guys. When you're doing a project, you don't just want to, well, I mean, you can just wing it, and sometimes we do, but if we come up with a plan first, that prevents a lot of issues in the future, and it's going to save time. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to come up with a detailed plan. I'm trying to think in advance of all the things I'm going to have to do. Send out order forms to E.O. Smith staff. Receive orders. Now I'm ready to roast the coffee. All right, and then I'm going to grind it and bag it. Whoops. And 9, deliver it. Now, I want you to notice something though. In this form, I'm not requiring extremely detailed steps. What I would want you to do is, after you're done with this form, the next thing for you to do is going to be to go to your bullet journal or go to Trello and put in even more detailed steps. For example, a link to the instructions for roasting the coffee, right? I want to see, what does this order form look like? What does that email look like? I want to see specifics, right? Exactly what beans did you decide to order? So all of this can go in your bullet journal or your Trello board, right? Okay, then we're going to deliver it. So there you go. When will you complete the project? Well, I already said here that I'm going to receive the beans 1 week after I order. Now, this other stuff I could probably do in a day. So I've got a day and a week. I'm going to wait for the forms. Maybe that's going to be another week by the time I'm roasting the coffee. So I'm at 2 weeks. Then I'm grinding it and delivering it. I'm at about 3 weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, so today is the 10th of February. I'm going to go ahead and put in the 24th of February. So I'm going to make an estimate of what I think it would take for me to go through this whole process. And that would be about 2 weeks. That's if I can get the beans in 1 week, and I'll have to check on that, on the shipping on that. See how quickly they would come in. If I need to readjust this, I can, and you can go back in and edit these forms. How many credits should it be worth? Figure about 100 hours of work per credit. oh, this is not going to be any more than about 10 hours of work, so that's going to be 0.1 credits. Now, if I'm going to repeat this process, so I could go ahead and keep repeating this, like keep sending out order forms, which I hope we're going to do with the coffee project. Keep sending out forms, and then keep getting orders and keep roasting coffee. I could end up with this credit amount higher, but for now, I'm going to click submit. Now, before I do though, I want to go back. Let's say you figured out your project, used the brainstorming activity, but you're having trouble coming up with the steps or the resources. Well, at that point, I don't want you to just leave it blank, or you could submit it and have me look at it, and if I see that the resources are not sufficient or that the steps are not sufficient, then I'm going to send you to some activities that focus in on those two parts, the steps and the resources. Got it? So if you know that you don't know enough about the resources or the steps to complete this, then flag me down. You don't need to submit this. Flag me down. I will send you to the proper mini lessons and projects. Otherwise, if you think you're all set, go ahead and submit it. Let me know you're done, and I'm going to go and check it, and I'm going to see if you got sufficient detail on the resources and on the steps and on the deadline and on the credits. And if not, I'm going to send you to some mini lessons before you can continue. And this is how this thing's going to go. All right. This is just the first step, right? This is just the planning process. At any point in this project, there could be issues, and we're going to have to revisit, do some mini lessons, that kind of thing. All right, I'm ready to hit submit, and you guys have yourselves a good weekend.